How to fix the UK's immigration crisis. Whether your politics wants you to accept this or not, the facts don't lie. We are currently in an immigration crisis in the UK. At the physical level, the country cannot cope due to the size of the country. There are far too many people on this island, the infrastructure can't cope, the housing market can't cope, everything on this island can't cope with the numbers of people. And to approach it from a cultural level, having vast swathes of people who are incompatible with the native British culture is not healthy for a society. It is going to create racial division and civil wars between the races. Liberals may not like that fact, but that is the truth of the matter. At the end of the day, we all can't get along in this world. Human history proves this. And to think that you are some special exception from human history just proves your own arrogance and your own narcissism. Throughout human history, different racial tribes of human beings have fought one another because they can't get along with one another. And what we're doing in this country is forcing all of these different tribes to live cheek by jowl next to each other. And as we've already seen, this has resulted in ethnic enclaves. The attitude during the 2000s when these people first started coming in was that they would all integrate into liberal society, and places like London would be a beautiful hodgepodge of every society on planet Earth, and everyone would all get along peacefully, we'd all buy each other's foreign food, and we'd all be happy and smiling. But that's not what's happened. Over the past 20 years, London's crime rate has gone up to beyond New York's crime rate. Ethnic enclaves have descended into poverty, and overall happiness levels in multicultural countries like the UK have tanked to the point where we're now one of the most unhappy countries on the planet. So it goes without saying that what we see here is not okay. This is a serious problem and it needs addressing, whether the left like it or not. So how do we address this problem? These people are all here now, so what are we going to do about it? Well, first of all, let's explain the obvious, that we're not going to be able to do anything about it unless we get a real hard government in charge. I don't even think Reform UK would be up to this task, to be honest. I think they're too milquetoast, and like I've said in my previous video, they are mostly a letdown at this point. They drum up a load of populist energy, and then the moment they get in power, it just dissipates and they fall back into being boring and they don't actually do anything. We've seen all kinds of conservative plans thrown around Parliament, from the Conservative Party's Rwanda plan, which is nothing basically. That's not even a bone thrown to us, that's just a spit in our face. To Reform UK, who I think in their manifesto do have something about it, but it's very weak. It's just like, we're going to freeze migration. Well, what good's that going to do? They're all here. They're already here. What good is freezing it going to do? No, you need a mass deportation program that is fair and just and humanitarian. Like it says here, we won't be mean. They should just have their benefits taken away, and they should be made to use my watertight citizenship process that I will explain in a minute, or else they will be deported. Mass deportation is possible, it's not impossible. All we need to do is buy each and every one of them who are on the deportation list a one-way economy ticket back home to their home country, funded by the taxpayer for a period of 5 years to undo the damage that we have done. So what is my watertight citizenship process? Let's have a look. This is Norf FC Investing's UK border for entering legally into the country. And this applies to absolutely everyone. There are no exceptions. There are 3 classes of UK passports, and interestingly here, they are all tradable on the new UK passport market. By putting a price on citizenship, you are also putting a value on citizenship, and that means that people have to pay for that as they would any other goods and services, because citizenship is a valuable commodity. So let's go through the 3 classes of passports here. First one is a UK bronze passport that I've put at a market value of £10,000 per passport. It's valid for 5 years, And it's ideal for students, assuming they can't just study in their home country, and anyone who wants to make a quick buck in the UK and then leave. And it's good for if you've got rich gap year kids who want to go on a 3-4 year holiday in the UK, because they'll have tons of money, they'll be able to afford the £10,000 passport, and they'll be good net contributors to the UK economy. Foreign diplomats could be issued this passport once for free, and then they get 80% off any other passports or passes that they purchase in the future. The next tier up from that is the UK Silver Passport that I've put at a market value of £20,000 per person. Obviously, these market values can fluctuate just like any other market. These prices wouldn't be fixed. They would go up and down according to a market index. But, this is just starting values. £20,000 per person for a silver passport, valid for 10 years. This one is ideal for economic migrants who want to raise children or start a temporary business away from their home country for whatever reason. So under this system, we don't have to come up with stupid reasons to let people in, like, oh, they're from a war-torn country, or they look poor, or they're so sad, oh, look at their face, look at their little puppy face, let me in, please. It doesn't matter. You pay the money for one of these 3 passports, simple as, or you go home. A silver passport is issuable to anyone once for free who has only had parents born in the UK, and then they get 50% off any future renewals on any of the products listed here. And then the next step up from that is the UK Gold Passport, which is what most white British people would hold, as well as anyone who meets the criteria set out here. The market value at issue initially for this is £200,000 per person, because this one is valid for life. It's issuable to anyone once for free who meets any of the criteria below. And those criteria are you've had parents and grandparents born in the UK, so that covers pretty much all the white British population. You've served in the British military, you've married someone with a gold passport, and you've forfeited your right to a divorce, because that stops people marrying and then divorcing and then just hanging around in the UK. You have to be real and legit with your marriage to get that gold passport, or for anyone who's had parents born in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong has gone through a truly abhorrent situation with China, and as a former British colony that has been close to Britain for many, many years, we should definitely let those people in. And on a gold passport, you can't really be deported, but you are still subject to UK law. But we will go on to that in a minute in how you can really be deported on my gold passport. So those are the UK passports. If you want to leave the UK as an expatriate, you can, and you can trade your passport into the UK passport market for a lot of money. However, you will then have to re-enter the market as any other foreigner would if you ever wanted to come back. So that means expats don't get any special privileges. If they want to leave the UK, they are perfectly entitled to do so, and they can cash out their passport for a load of money. However, if they ever want to come back, they'll have to re-enter the market and pay market value prices. Beyond UK passports, for visitors to the country, we can have visitor passes. Unlike passports, these will be non-tradable, because trading visitor passes would be absurd, really. So the different classes I've put here, you can have 1-year visitor pass, issuable once every 3 years for £1,000, a 6-month visitor pass, issuable once every 3 years for £300, or a 1-month visitor pass for anyone who just wants to come here as a quick tourist for £20. And on the left-hand side here, I've assigned discounts for friends of the UK. So Tier 1 friends of the UK get half price off of any of the products listed here. And that includes the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, EU countries, Norway, Switzerland, Iceland, Hong Kong, and anyone who can prove that they have family lineage from any European nation. Tier 2 friends of the UK get 25% off all the products listed here, and that's just for really Japan, South Korea, and Singapore. Other than that, there are no exceptions. It's simple as that. For my new UK border policy, if you are denied entry, anyone denied entry at a UK border station is sent back to their country of origin with a one-way economy class ticket within 1 month. That ticket is funded by the UK taxpayer under our national security budget. The cheapest flight possible will be selected. They are held in custody until their flight back home is due, at which point they go back home. And if there's any problems with this, we can always invest money into airlines like British Airways to increase capacity if the flights begin to get too full. So what happens to criminals who are UK passport holders or visitor pass holders. Visitor pass holders are just deported immediately, no questions asked if they are a convicted criminal. Convicted criminals with a bronze passport will have the passport destroyed, and if they want to come back, they can, but they'll have to pay the money again. So that's effectively a £10,000 fine plus going home, because they'd have to pay that £10,000 to come back. Convicted criminals holding a silver passport will have the passport destroyed, and once again, they have to pay the £20,000 market value or whatever the value is. And convicted criminals holding a gold passport, so that's most of the population really. They can stay if they're in a magistrate's court offence, but will be subject to UK law as normal. And if it's a serious Crown Court offence and are found guilty of that, they will have to pay anywhere from £1,000 to £20,000 at the judge's discretion to keep the passport, otherwise it'll be destroyed and they'll be deported to any private prison around the world who is offering the best price to the UK taxpayer. So what do we do to stop illegal entry? Because obviously we've dealt with legal migration now, but what are we going to do to stop the illegal migrants? Well, it's very simple, really. We just buff up our security. Any watercraft or brave swimmers approaching the UK shores will be escorted by the UK Navy to a UK border station, where they may attempt to enter legally under the new rules laid out earlier. Very simple, if they refuse to cooperate, the watercraft is then a national security threat, and after multiple warnings to cooperate is sank. We already do this with unauthorised aircraft, so why aren't we doing it with boats as well? For lorries and cargo coming into the country, ferry and channel tunnel terminal fences will now be electrified with a lethal voltage, so you can't climb over the fence. All HGVs entering the UK at a UK border will have to drive through heat detectors to see if anyone is hiding in the HGV, and cargo containers will have to go through the same similar process. For unidentified aircraft, that can just stay the same as it currently is, which is that the RAF shoot them down if it doesn't identify itself. And it really is as simple as that. If the government just implemented the policies that I'd laid out there, our country would start to get back up on its feet in no time.